Hi everyone, my name's Alan Oldham. I'm currently completing my PhD under the supervision of Professor Angela Schneider, who's the director at the International Center of Olympic Studies and leading this symposium. And we're located at the University of Western Ontario in London, Canada. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on the decision to replace lightweight rowing events at the Olympic Games with a novel discipline of the sport, namely beach sprints, for the Los Angeles 2020 Games, and the positive implications of this change for improving equity, diversity, and inclusion within one of the oldest sports in the modern Olympic Games. Introduced into the World Rowing Championships in 1974 for men and 1985 for women, lightweight category events, namely the under 59 kilogram double sculls for women and under 72.5 kilogram double sculls and fours without coxswain for men, made their Olympic debut at Atlanta 1996. The main argument for inclusion held that smaller bodies cannot compete on equal terms with larger ones. Lightweights equaled 70% of the world, said Dennis Oswald, president of World Rowing, the sport's governing body, from 1989 to 2014, recalling his efforts to bring rowing's weight category to the Games. I was able to convince national federations that our sport could not ignore so many people. Regardless of how accurate Oswald's data were, his campaign for Olympic inclusion was inspired by real perceptions beyond the global north. When I visited Asia, especially Southeast Asia and Latin America, and asked them why they did not support rowing, they said, "We have no chance with our smaller, lighter people, so we don't treat rowing as an Olympic sport. I saw lightweight rowing as a way to get more countries involved." For Oswald, securing lightweight rowing's Olympic berth was the main factor in the sport's phenomenal growth since. "When I started rowing," he said, "there were 67 national federations within World Rowing. Now there are 142. Despite this ostensible success, many IOC members, Oswald himself, a member since 1991, continued to oppose weight categories in non-combat sports. With the adoption of the IOC's Agenda 2020 and its push for greater gender equality, one of the three lightweight events was dropped after Rio 2016 to allow for an equal number of men's and women's events overall. This left only the men's and women's lightweight double sculls at Tokyo 2020, and even these will be phased out after Paris 2024. Their replacement, a novel discipline of the sport, beach sprints, is set to debut at Los Angeles 2028. This Olympic sea change raises two critical questions. First, did Olympic lightweight rowing live up to Oswald's vision of expanded global diversity? And second, will beach sprints have a positive impact on rowing's global diversity? To address the first question, I will offer two alternative explanations for rowing's expansion in recent decades. First, World Rowing's continental qualification system, and secondly, the IOC's tripartite commission invitation process. Understanding these processes provides a broader context to situate the introduction of a weight category as just one of many efforts aiming to improve global South access to rowing. To address the second question, I will draw on Sigmund Lowland's fair equality of opportunity principle for sport. This states that inequalities between sport competitors with significant and systematic impact on performance that the competitors cannot impact and control in any reasonable way ought to be eliminated or compensated for. As Oswald pointed out, there was a broad perception that the inequality of body size was the primary factor discouraging nations from the global south from participation in Olympic rowing across much of the world. Lightweight categories, already a common feature of European and North American domestic rowing events, seemed an obvious candidate to address this international inequality. What was not figured into this calculation, however, was that equal opportunity for access does not necessarily mean equal opportunity for success. The continued dominance of established rowing nations in lightweight rowing's Olympic quarter century attests to this fallacy. Although beach sprints' apotheosis raises the risk of a similar change in future as wealthy nations redirect funding to dominate the nascent Olympic event, there are signs that things may still be different. In particular, beach sprint rowing's top international event, the World Rowing Beach Sprint Finals, has already attained levels of participation from the so-called developing nations, far surpassing similar entries in lightweight events over the decade prior to their inclusion at Atlanta in 1996. Moving on to what beach sprints are. We can describe beach sprints as being distinguished from classic Olympic rowing both in distance and format. In this World Rowing illustration, we can see the course design and race format where a member of each racing crew begins on the beach a short distance from the water and must run to their boat. When they arrive at the boat, the crew takes off to the far turning buoy and then weave their way back towards the beach, where a crew member hops out and completes the race on foot, attempting to cross the line first. The dual head-to-head slalom and fast-paced playoff-style elimination rounds signal a major break from classic Olympic rowing, which, with few exceptions, is 6 boats side by side on a 2,000-meter course. Although much is made of beach sprints bringing a media-friendly extreme element to one of the Olympics' oldest sports, as far as I am aware, this is the first academic assessment of the discipline's potential to increase rowing's global diversity. Significantly, an application of FEOPS, Fair Equality of Opportunity Principle for Sport, shows that beach sprints is in a far better position than lightweight rowing to benefit participation and offer chance of Olympic success to non-traditional rowing nations. When Dennis Oswald concluded his quarter century at rowing's helm in 2014, he considered Olympic lightweight rowing crucial to what was the sport's most significant period of global growth. Yet, this view ignores 2 lightweight independent practices, in particular, World Rowing's Continental Qualification System and the IOC's Tripartite Commission. The Continental Qualification System was developed as additional opportunities to secure Olympic berths for nations who did not qualify at the World Rowing Championships before the Games year. Significantly, qualification via this route is limited to small boats, women's and men's singles, doubles, and lightweight double sculls. Given IOC limitations on sports athletes' numbers, the small boats focus seems an expedient means to increase the number of nations in the Olympic regatta. Furthermore, this increased focus on intra-regional competition has evolved into vibrant continental championships, for example, the African Rowing Championships, or reinforced well-established events, such as the South American Rowing Championships. The IOC's Tripartite Commission, representing the IOC National Olympic Committees, the NOCs, and international federations, or IFs, was formed in 1971. The group plays an important role in Games qualification by hand-picking a small number of athletes from such NOCs which have not been able to qualify so that they may have an opportunity to be invited to compete in sports and disciplines for which invitation places have been reserved. Rowing receives tripartite invitation sports for 2 women and 2 men. Significantly, although there is no accessible database of tripartite invitations, the available information for rowing since Beijing 2008 reveals that this initiative is primarily, perhaps exclusively, deemed non-lightweight events as the focal point of development opportunities. As we can see in this table, tripartite invitations have never been given for lightweight events, although the option has been available. Significantly, tripartite commissions and continental qualification practices complement each other, the latter providing an opportunity for athletes already given an Olympic leg up by the former. For example, having received a tripartite invitation in London 2012, Paraguay's Gabriela Mosquera earned a spot for Rio 2016 at the Americas Qualification Regatta. These practices also allow us to answer the paper's first question. No, the global growth is more nuanced than Oswald's claim suggests. The introduction of a weight category was just one among several efforts, at least 2 of which will continue to thrive beyond lightweight rowing's Olympic exit. It could be argued that lightweight rowing, even if not the primary driver of rowing's global growth, by merely existing as a possible avenue for Olympic participation has benefited nations, which might not otherwise have had the opportunity. While this may be the case, the existence of lightweight events has also foreclosed a larger potential avenue for more diverse participation via doubling or trebling the number of Olympic berths for open weight singles or doubles. This, however, raises another thorny issue, distinguishing between the opportunity to participate and the opportunity to succeed. I will discuss this in the next part of the paper, where we will see that beach sprint rowing has potential to provide the opportunity for both access and success. According to Lowland's Fair Equality of Opportunity Principle for Sport, or FEOPS, a category is justified where an inequality prevents fair competition. This is doubtless how Oswald viewed lightweight rowing, a remedy for global body size inequalities. Yet, as the results data for Olympic lightweight rowing reveal, opportunity to participate does not necessarily mean opportunity to succeed. Notably, of nations boasting top 6 finishers, only 4 lie beyond the traditional rowing regions of Europe, North America, or Australia, New Zealand, those being China, Japan, South Africa, and Uruguay. Yet, these are no interlopers, having had success on other occasions in open events. Although we have no Olympic data for beach sprints thus far, comparable results from the discipline's premier international event, the World Rowing Beach Sprint Finals, indicate good potential for an immediate and positive impact on both the access and success of newer rowing nations. While it is true that all medals have gone to the usual suspects, the top 6 data show some noteworthy differences. Tunisia and Hong Kong make an appearance on this shortlist, while the top 12 rankings include some rising rowing powers, Algeria, Egypt, and Vanuatu, far closer to the podium than any previous Olympic results. The potential for the success of non-traditional rowing nations is especially evident when looking at the junior or under-19 age category events that began in 2021. Tunisia's 5 gold medals across 3 successive iterations, matching Spain's count atop the leaderboard, and Egypt's silver medal reveals the growing depth of these national teams. It could, however, be argued that none of this matters. Now that beach sprints are in the games, wealthy, established rowing nations will simply direct former lightweight funding towards beach sprints. This may well prove to be the case, but there is some reason to hope that diversity will yet prevail with beach sprints where it failed with weight categories. One large factor that differentiates beach sprints is the deliberate scaffolding of global development structures from its inception. Whereas lightweight rowing was an imposition of a tried and true practice of the sport from the global north, beach sprint rowing has the potential at least to be something more representative of the global south. It seems that world rowing has learned the lessons of success from its continental qualifiers in developing or integrating into established regional events. For example, the Arab Beach Sprint Championships since 2021, the 2015 Mediterranean and 2016 Asian Beach Games. Since 2018, the Commonwealth Rowing Association has focused exclusively on beach sprints for their championships. Vanuatu's Rio, claiming his nation's first Commonwealth gold, was emblematic of beach sprint rowing's potential to provide fair equality of opportunity, not just to take part, but to excel. As we look beyond Paris 2024 to rowing's new Olympic order, even though we might not be able to tell with certainty if beach sprints will live up to these high expectations, one thing is certain: rowing will never be the same. Thanks very much for watching.